Hello and welcome to another episode of Mashable Pakistan Lab. We are here with the team that is working on Hacktivate 4.0. Uh, Hopefully, our listeners would remember that we have been doing these podcast sessions with various teams with NIC Pakistan, who, despite the pandemic, are trying to keep the startup culture and incubation centers motivated, and however digitally they are trying that we can come up with innovative solutions to various specific issues that Pakistan faces. And Hactivate 4.0 is focused on fintech. So I have with me experts from NIC, their partner organization on this specific Hactivate, which is Allied Bank, and we have one of their consultants with us. So welcome. I'm going to welcome you all, and I'm just going to put out the first question that I think every layman in the country has. स्पेसिफिकली कि आजकल हम काफ़ी मल्टीपल न्यूज़ हमें नज़र आ रही है अराउंड द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ फिनटेक. So I would invite any one of you just start and just explain to a layman what fintech is before we get into the details of the Hactivate marathon.
So when we're talking about fintech, we're
Can you all
essentially
hear me?
talking about using technology to shape financial services. So fintech की domain जो है वो बहुत broad है, ठीक है? We're talking about financial solutions, which encourage financial inclusion, not just for the people who have a financial literacy, but it's something which is there out for the masses. So how we can exactly use digital technology to encourage financial innovation for the masses. And in countries like Pakistan, जहाँ पे आपकी underbanked and unbanked population बहुत ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पे bringing about fintech solutions which address concerns and bring about innovation for the masses is a big challenge. Essentially fintech की domain बहुत broad है, ठीक है? It involves solutions which are there for फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूट्स, ठीक है? तो फॉर एग्जांपल आप बैंकिंग को किस तरह से डिजिटलाइज कर सकते हो, बैंकिंग को किस तरह से बेहतर कर सकते हो, एंड देन हाउ एन इंडिविजुअल लेमैन कैन यूज दीज सॉल्यूशंस एंड improve financial inclusion in our, for example, day to day activities. So generally अगर हम fintech को describe करें, and I'm sure the experts Ijlal and Ali Mehdi can add more to this.
Islal, please continue where Isra has sort of left off, and उसमें also add एक banking sector का specifically she also touched upon this point कि काफ़ी एक हमारी population अगर देखी जाए तो उसमें there's a large percentage which is not in the banking system as it is. So how does fintech, is there a is there something, a window where this fintech system can actually reach out to those segments of our society as well?
Thank you so much, Fatma. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Amazing. Sorry, I missed out what Asra said because there's something wrong with my system.
We just gave a
But
basic sort of definition and intro of what fintech is.
amazing. So fintech basically is a sort of a counter to the traditional financial processes or systems that you see, right? You see cash being handled, or you see people going towards banks, or you see the conventional processes within the bank itself. So, I understand the point that you just made with a lot of, you see branchless banking and alternative banking experience coming on board, but there's still a massive population which is underbanked and unbanked, and how we think and fintech could support and to shorten that gap. Fintech is definitely the only solution that can be done, and there are multiple horizons, multiple facets at which could be done. One is our branch transformation. So let's say if somebody goes to a branch, you've got one traditional retail branch with branch operators, say, but if the processes that they are automated, rather than going to a person or a branch representative, you can go to a machine, you can open your account right away on the spot within seconds. That is fintech, because somebody who was underbanked has the convenience to create an account within seconds going to a branch. Even if let's say a person does not want to go to a branch, right? You still have branchless banking where somebody can download an application. It could be ABL, a wallet. It could be EasyPass. It could be Jazz Cash, where they can open a wallet account right away. Even though wallet account does have certain limitations, but then again, they're still able to do their basic financial transactions on that application. Um, Not just that, so let's say if you do not have a smartphone, even though the smartphone usability within Pakistan has reached a very good level, every person out there now, then because of the cheaper prices, is using a smartphone. But let's say if you don't have one, you can still create an account, a wallet account, through your mobile phone by just calling. So fintech over here is, you've got your branch transformation activities, and then you've got your digital transformation activities as well. So branch transformation is converting your conventional processes, automating them, making sure that the time of the process or the whole steps is being shortened, and even you're also reducing the cost of business as well. Secondly, you've got digital transformation. That's where the activities that you've been doing, when if you have to go to a branch, you can do them from the comfort of your house. You'll probably see a lot of digital banking applications coming on board. You've got my ABL application for Allied Bank, where somebody can literally just go to the application and pay the utility bills, transfer money, P2P, and much more. On top of it, Allied Bank has just recently launched WhatsApp Banking, where you can also perform your basic banking transactions, such as if you want to look at your mini statements, or if you want to check out your balance, you can just do it via your WhatsApp application. So the convenience of performing your basic financial transactions is how fintech is promoting people to use those, so that we kill cash. And I on top of it, I'll give you a very interesting scenario. So I was part of this. I was listening to this session recently that was held by Umar Moin Malik, who is the head of digital wallets and payments at Telenor Microfinance Bank, and he showed us a pretty good start. So what he believed was that the biggest problem facing the financial ecosystem in Pakistan was cash, and I'll tell you why. Because you've got only 25 to 30 people of the 120 million adults in Pakistan who have a bank account, and most of the population is addicted to cash. Let's say if I take an Uber myself, even though Uber has a wallet, my Uber driver would prefer in getting cash rather than me sending money to his account. Why is that? It's because the acceptability of cash at a merchant level, at an individual, is quite high. So our cash circulation in total is touching about 8 trillion PKR, and the ratio of cash in circulation towards in ratio with the total money supply in Pakistan is 35%. Even though we used to be at 20% a decade ago, and this is in sync with the population rise as well. So, and India, so let's compare it to our neighboring country, India. So India is used to be at 15%, and they dropped at 20%, 10% due to their demonetization drive. So cash in general makes our poorest, more vulnerable to predatory informal financial services. Because let's say if you want a loan, rather than them going to an informal sector for a loan, they can be, exploited on that basis. So, and cash can be stolen. It could be counterfeited. Moreover, the state bank spends a lot of money printing cash every year from our tax revenue. So, and with zero documentation and paper trail, cash is something that can lead to money laundering and terrorist financing as well. So with fintech coming on board, and you with digital banking on board, people are being motivated, and the capacity is being built so that they perform their transactions digitally as well. That way, it's all recorded, so it gives good transparency on where the money was being spent, and then and biggest challenge to government, which is lack of taxation revenue. This could be addressed through this as well. So point being is fintech has a very wider scope, and this could also be explained by Asra when she will go through thematic areas. It's not just digital banking. It could be somewhere anything with regards to your basic financial transactions and how you have digitized them in order to lower the cost of business. Secondly, making it convenient for an everyday person, to use those.
Okay, so my next question would be that, as you have explained, not just the concept of fintech, but also banking in the general financial market. And another common perception is, and I think this would be an interesting question, is that how events like Hacktivate can sort of build into something which, from to a layman person, sounds like a responsibility at a macro level, like finance and everything that needs to be managed by the state, by the banking sector, be it the the private sector banks, or the main national bank, which is State Bank of Pakistan. And events like Hacktivate and small startups or incubators are usually seen as places where their products and services are developed of a sort that sort of can maybe resolve an issue at a local level, or maybe come up with some interesting point in the future, that or develop a product that we might not see, but they can think of an interesting way of it. So how does an event like this can help or generate ideas or solutions that can actually help into something which has a bigger economic impact to the country?
That's a wonderful question, Fatma. For starters, we believe events like Hacktivate that has been arranged by NIC in collaboration with us is very crucial, not just for the startup ecosystem, but for the economy in general. So we, Allied Bank thinks that fintechs and startups like technology company need to partner with banking institutions because it is an immediate way to address a lack of market experience or regulatory experience, and this way they can leverage synergies, create a stronger proposition by bringing together a core competency of both parties. So I'll give you a real life scenario. Let's say if we see a good team within Activate who has a wonderful solution, regardless of it wins or not, and we see good value, we're open to discussing a partnership dynamic where that team would be the product owners. They will decide the user journey. They will see how how that product can facilitate a normal person. But we'll be there to further support that idea, to further facilitate that person, to build it up, make sure that it is in accordance with Pakistan's state bank's laws, in terms of risk, in terms of, compliance. And that way, those partnerships basically allows developers and us to offer our clients as well. Light Bank has about 4 million clients, which is a huge chunk in offering value-added digital services. So while co-educating and sharing the burdens of compliance, risk, and even investment cost here. So and as part of this Allied Bank's vision, we've recently launched a multi-asset open banking developer portal, which we have made available to a wider ecosystem of third-party developers, fintechs, vendors, and partners. So this API developer portal is basically Allied Bank, offering its services to different fintechs or different startups, and how it can, how those can leverage it. So it's an open banking API, and this model is something that has been very successful because if you see if you see Far East, if you see China, and if you see towards the West as well, you've got a lot of digital banks and digital fintechs coming on board who have been using this open banking APIs and developing their products around it. So now we've got multiple APIs developed where we take the responsibility of those transactions. We handle that part of the of the solution, and the rest, the consumer, the UI UX, the whole unique selling point is something that our partner organization will, the fintech or the startup would own. So this portal is basically allows them to connect their enterprises directly to Allied Bank's engine, so to speak. And in order to make it more convenient, so the portal also provides technical documentation, reference guides, sample codes, interactive tools, so to guide them through. And recently we actually signed a partnership MOU with NIC as well, where we will be offering our services of facilitating and the fintech startups that are already there. And we have made good progress. So there were a few startups who wanted to use the services of bank on the back end, and we did in order to bridge the communication gap there, because sometimes banks can be very bureaucratic, and we would want this to be sort of an engagement strategy where Allied Banks lets everybody know, what sort of facilities we can offer, and then they can give us their feedback as well on, how Allied Banks, so this is the portal that that you have, how you can further, give us suggestions on how we can further improve our product offerings. So there's direct communication between the two, and then there's a whole engagement strategy. So for ABL, this hackathon is an engagement strategy and should give us direct direct communication channel with the developer community, because for Allied Bank, our competency business model lies in providing technology-based solutions, and this forum will help us establish a two-way conversations between those that develop them and the people that use them. So on a micro level, that's where we see it. But then on a macro level, let's say if it's a solution that's already been developed very much and we are there to further support it, that solution for starters we can offer to our 4 million clientele. So if we see a good solution right now, maybe a few weeks down the line, you will see a good conversion rate. So you will see 4 million people using that solution. And on top of it, so because we believe, the change starts from us. So Elite Tech has about 11,000 employees, and all of them are tech savvy. So by tech savvy, I mean all of them are using my ABL digital banking applications and transferring their, doing their basic financial transactions online. And we want this conversion to be further, increased, enhanced upon to the rest of the population of Pakistan as well.
Okay, so
Adding to, sorry, Fatma, I would just like to add a little bit over here about what the vision, behind the Hacktivate project has been. So, like Ijlal, correctly mentioned, so we started this Hacktivate, which is a flagship project of the NIC. The idea is to bring various stakeholders together onto a common platform. ठीक है, आपको पता है SMEs and startups across the world, they are, we see more than 400 million SMEs. They are the backbone of economies. They play a very important role in job creation. So when we encourage, or we, set up platforms like this, what happens is that you bring different stakeholders on one platform. So for example, अगर हम fintech अपने hackathon की ही बात करें, ठीक है, so we have fintech is an emerging space. So जब तक आपकी collaboration नहीं होगी between different stakeholders, which includes regulatory bodies, which includes financial institutions, and which includes these SMEs and startups who are coming up with these innovative ideas. So when we connect them on a common platform, what happens is that an idea which has to on its own go through all the regulatory hurdles, so wo facilitate ho jata hai, and a smooth roadmap is created connecting all the stakeholders together. Another thing which we do post hackathons is that jo hamare, of course, jo winners hote hain, jo they not only get cash prizes, they get mentoring support from our vast network of industry experts and mentors. So we take them through the entire business development cycle. We also do a research study post every hackathon. The purpose of this study again is to publish a working document which can be presented to policymakers, which can be presented to regulatory bodies, which presents primary and secondary research findings from the startups to understand their pain points, from the financial institutes, from the regulatory bodies to understand their hurdles. So a collaborative action plan can be introduced. So जो silos में काम हो रहे होते हैं, इस तरह के platforms जब आप introduce करते हो, तो essentially जो है everybody is on the same page, and it can really take the sector towards the next level.
True. I think this is very important, because as you mentioned, working in silos is something that's been creating a lot of problems and maybe hampering key progress. Maybe it may be any industry or any sector. So let's move on to Hacktivate 4.0 itself. Just talk about what it is, how can people apply, who can apply, and maybe what are the thematic areas that you guys have like identified 7 thematic areas that you want to work on, or the startups that you are looking for need to work on, can give ideas. So just talk about a bit about that. What are the deadlines? Just an overall of what for the event.
Okay, so a little bit about the event first, that how does the hackathon work? It is essentially, Hacktivate 4.0 has been divided into 2 sub-competitions. So the first one is a pitching competition, and the second one is the ABL Innovation Challenge, right? So any startup SME who is working on a fintech solution under the defined thematic areas, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about them, is eligible to apply for the hackathon, whether they are from Pakistan or outside Pakistan. So one thing COVID has done has, really, merged the world together as a true global village, and by the use of digital technologies, we can access anyone, anywhere in the part of the world. So yes, it's open for both national and international applicants. Anybody who has a working fintech solution is eligible to apply. The deadline to apply is 4th of April, so it's just around the corner. So we've been receiving a good number of applications, good response so far, and which again is, indicative of the fact that more and more people are emerging in this space. And because of the recent developments on the regulatory side as well, I think this is something which is, attracting interest. So we do expect a lot of good solutions to, come out of the hackathon. As far as the thematic areas are concerned, I will not really go into the technical details, because again, it will be difficult for layman to understand. But we've sort of tried to cover everything ranging from, like Ijlal said, digital banking, कि किस तरह से we can move towards more and more towards a cashless economy, because अगर हम for example e-commerce की भी पाकिस्तान में बात करें तो most of it heavily relies on cash on delivery. So we are essentially a cash based economy. So how do we incorporate digital financial services to kind of formalize the sector? So we are touching upon digital financing. We are touching upon how startups and SMEs can build digital business models and incorporate digital financial solutions. We are especially focusing on improving women inclusion in financial services, because women, especially in developing countries like Pakistan, are at a considerable disadvantage when it comes to formalized financial services. So that again is a core area. So we are highly encouraging female participants to also apply for the competition. So then we're also touching areas like इंडिविजुअल फाइनेंशियल एप्स फॉर एग्जांपल. तो एक तो आपकी B2B solutions हैं, ठीक है, and then we also are focusing on B2C solutions. So for example, if I want to manage my own personal finance, so what kind of personal finance management apps can I have which is going to make easy for a layman like me to manage their day-to-day finances? So then we have a little complicated areas like we have asset management we are looking into. We're also touching upon green finance, which is an emerging area globally, and how we can encourage or promote fintech in the green finance space. So as you can see that and then a lot of other we are talking about e-payments, e-wallets, peer-to-peer lending. So the fintech space, as Ijlal mentioned in the start, is that it's very broad. So the scope of this hackathon is also very, very broad. So if you will visit our website, you will see that we've defined the thematic areas. So 7 thematic areas and a lot of subcategories within each thematic area. So I think anybody or everybody with a fintech solution in one way or the other can fit into our defined thematic areas. So yes, so you just need to visit the NIC's website, nicpakistan.pk, and you will be directed towards the Hacktivate 4.0 landing page, and all the information is there for applicants to apply.
Can you also talk a bit about the process once somebody is applied? What can they expect when if they have like been selected for the two-day event that's happening on, I think, 10th and 11th? 10th and
Yes,
11th of April.
so we have
So
our
what's the
shortlisting
training?
committee, which comprises of, by the way, the thematic areas have also been derived in close collaboration with financial experts. So our team has worked closely with relevant people from the industry and, derived these problem statements. We expect to, bring the same experts on board as judges and mentors for our, hackathon as well. So it's the applications once received, once the deadline has approached and we close applications, our shortlisting committee is going to shortlist, a few ideas, and they will be, informed on email on, when the competition is. So it's going to be essentially a 2-day challenge. We're going to have round 1, and then, the top, I think 7 or 8 teams are going to pitch for the finale. In addition to that, we have the ABL Innovation Challenge, which I think maybe Ijlal would like to talk about that.
Thank you, Esra. So, like she's already mentioned, you've got about, you've got 2 challenges here. One is Hacktivate and one is the ABL Innovation Challenge. So for somebody who does have a solution ready and is also able to further integrate it with our ABL, Open Banking API portal, he's also eligible for this ABL Innovation Challenge. We put a good cash prize there. But not just this, we would want to see how the teams use our portal and develop their solutions around it, how seamless the solution is, and how they can leverage our technology. If it's good, if it's smooth enough, we'd be more than willing to explore a partnership later on as well. So it's, like I mentioned before, it's sort of a part of our engagement strategy. And for this one, because we've developed a whole specific catalog, developer portal just for this hackathon. We've extended the deadline for that applications to about 7th of April, after which we will, evaluate the technical solutions, and then the rest of the pitching would be done on the 10th of 11th of April, along with the Hacktivate challenge as well.
Perfect. So, anything else that you want to add? Maybe, give some motivational advice to those who are interested in applying, uh, and then we can, wrap it up.
So what I was saying was, because we would want and motivate the teams to integrate their solutions with our ABL open banking portal. And I'll give you a one real world example on how have hackathons worked before too. So last year, Barclays ran its largest ever hackathon in Mumbai and Manchester at the same time, and the event gathered more about 1,000 participants distributed over about 547 teams. And the topic of the hackathon was the new European Payment Service Directive, which is PSD2. So this directive will force the disintegration of verticals in finance, as now the banks have to open their backbone to backbone system to third-party developers. So for 36 hours straight, teams worked intensely using Barclays portal to develop their ideas and prototypes. So in a way, this was a test of technology. So the teams also got access to coder tools and the documentation that was required, and they had expertise and advice by a range of tech communities engaged in the hackathon, like Google, Twitter, IBM, Amazon. And over here, like Asra has mentioned, we've got a very good, reputable resources from the corporate sector, from financial industry to guide and mentor these participants. So these firms not just only provide advice, but at the same time, they identify teams with great ideas that could work with them in the future. So, for us, we believe that everybody's a winner, because the experience that these teams are going to get is unparalleled. We've had a panel discussion before as well, and then we've got so many exciting, experienced people on the panel as judges, as mentors. So in short, we think this hackathon, through this hackathon with NIC, we will be able to manage or attract the right people and provide them with the right sources, so that we can foster internal and external innovation and promote an out of the box approach. So we would want them to assist us in changing the DNA of a bank and maybe society in general on a macro level, like you've already mentioned. So we're very excited to see what sort of solutions we get, and how these teams are able to leverage Allied Bank's open banking portal. And I would also want to wish them the best of luck.
Ali, you want to add something to this?
Wow, he's breaking again.
It's just one of those days.
No,
Yeah.
it's not your day today.
So, Fatma, since Ali is breaking up, I would just encourage, all startups and SMEs in the fintech space to please apply away. This is one of the largest fintech hackathons the industry is witnessing, with a broad network of, partners, whether it's community partners, it's sponsors, or it's media partners. So this is really the right platform for them to learn a lot, to, not only gain maybe some financial incentive out of it, but also to gain, some business development, mentoring support. So even if they don't, as Ijlal said, everybody is a winner. So even if they don't, make it, because of course, we're just going to have 3 winners. So, but ultimately, everybody will be getting some sort of, business development support, some sort of a one-to-one relationship with a mentor, which they can maybe take with them in the long run as well. So yeah, it's everybody who takes part is definitely going to be a winner, and all the best to everybody who's applying.
So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. We will hopefully have you guys back, because as one of the media partners, we will be having multiple sessions with you guys, with the core team, and hopefully with the winners and people you identify as well. So yeah, best of luck, and hope to see you again. And hopefully Ali's internet will be better next time, and we can have a separate session with Ali, and talk about details on
I think
this.
it is better now. For some reason, it's not
Yeah,
missing now.
yeah. So
At the
before,
end.
Ali, 2 cents from you, please.
Ali, yeah, please. We've been trying to get you on board. Nope, it's not. It's not. It's just not his day. So yeah, but we would, because he has like finance and investment expertise. I was going through his profile. We would like to, with a better internet connection, have you back, and discuss some more details on it. Until then, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.